Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're now with me, Yusuf Shakri for Tvs Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. United States diplomat Anthony Blinken has urged Hamas to agree to a ceasefire. Clashes erupted at numerous universities across the United States between rival pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli groups. And Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today expressed disappointment with the Western world, who continues to be biased against Palestinians. Our top story, United States diplomat Anthony Blinken has urged Hamas to agree to a ceasefire following Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's pledge to deploy troops to Rafah. Blinken stated that Hamas bears sole responsibility for the ceasefire's failure due to its refusal to meet Israel's egregious conditions for it to proceed.
We're determined to get a ceasefire that brings the hostages home and to get it now. And the only reason that wouldn't be achieved is because of Hamas. There is a proposal on the table, and as we've said, no delays, no excuses. The time is now, and the time is now long past due to bring the hostages home to their families.
Blinken met with the Israeli President Isaac Herzog on his 7th regional tour since Gaza genocidal war broke out in October, and later will meet the warmongering Netanyahu to pass on U.S. message. Although Washington has increased pressure on all parties to reach a ceasefire, Blinken's remarks suggest that the message primarily favors Israel's perspective over others. Despite that, a Hamas source mentioned that Hamas, having returned from talks in Cairo to their base in Qatar, would discuss the ideas and the proposals. They emphasized their keenness to respond swiftly. The Palestinian militant group also stated that it was contemplating a 40-day ceasefire plan along with an exchange of numerous hostages for a greater number of Palestinian prisoners. As of now, Israel's offensive has killed at least 34,535 people in Gaza, mostly women and children, according to the health ministry in the Hamas-run territory.
Now, clashes erupted at numerous universities across the United States, notably on the campus of the University of California, Los Angeles, between rival pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli groups. Now, according to LA Mayor Zach Seidel post on X, the Los Angeles Police Department promptly responded to the university's request for assistance and provided protection only for those who are pro-Israel.
Protesters and counter-protesters were observed engaging in clashes, wielding sticks and dismantling metal barricades. Additionally, some individuals were observed launching fireworks or throwing objects at each other in the darkness, illuminated by laser pointers and bright flashlights. UCLA Chancellor Jean D. Block cautioned in advance of the clashes that protesters comprising both members of the UCLA community and individuals unaffiliated with the campus has established a camp the previous week. He added that as of now, a significant portion of the demonstrators as well as the counter-demonstrators who have gathered in the area have conducted themselves peacefully in their activism. Meanwhile, at Columbia University in New York, police officers clad in riot gear have apprehended dozens of individuals and transported them away in police buses and vans. The pro-Palestinian group Columbia University Apartheid Divest alleged that the police had violently invaded the campus, accusing them of brutally attacking the protesters.
Back in Malaysia, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today expressed his disappointment with the Western world, who continues to be biased against the Palestinians that are oppressed by the Zionist regime, even when the so-called ceasefire is still in effect. During his previous visit to Joe Biden and several Western leaders, Anwar said he did everything he could in his capacity to diplomatically stop their support to Israel, and that Malaysia will stay firm with its stance with Palestine.
Bagi saya sepanjang malam dan hari ini rasa sangat terkesan kerana seolah-olah dunia ini menghampakan bicara soal demokrasi, bicara soal hak kemanusiaan, sudah menjadi manusia tinggi tamadunnya, mencapai dan menggapai hal-hal yang tidak terduga sebelumnya, dari digital ke AI, tetapi maruah dan nilai masih hambar, masih tidak memuliakan insan. Jadi sebab itu nasib rakyat Palestin khususnya di Gaza masih belum terjamin.
He spoke while inaugurating the National Level Workers' Day Celebration 2024 in Putrajaya on Wednesday. Anwar, who's just returned from a working visit to Saudi Arabia yesterday, said the humanitarian issue in Gaza is frequently raised whenever he meets with any international leaders. He spent 2 days in Saudi Arabia to attend the special meeting of the World Economic Forum, WEF, in Riyadh, which was attended by over 1,000 participants, including head of states and government, as well as business and industry leaders.
Back in Sarawak, Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Jari Tunopeng is optimistic that the state will become the highest contributing state to the national economy. His confidence is due to Sarawak being recognised as one of the top 3 states contributing to the gross domestic product GDP of Malaysia, behind Selangor and the Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur.
Kita dah melintasi Johor. Kita dah atas pada Johor dah. Jadi saya mengadakan tidak silama lagi. Apabila kita kerja kuat, rakyat dan juga jentera kerajaan, pemimpin kerja bersama, tidak mustahil Sarawak akan menjadi yang ke atas di seluruh Malaysia.
He said this in a speech at the Simunjan District Level Aidilfitri Open House at Dewan Mesra Simunjan earlier today. According to the post-COVID-19 State Development Strategy, Sarawak aims to achieve a gross domestic product (GDP) of 282 billion ringgit by 2030. Sarawak has already achieved a record income of 13.1 billion ringgit in 2023, surpassing 11.9 billion ringgit the previous year. Also present at the event was Sarawak Minister of Utilities and Telecommunications Datuk Seri Julahi Narawi, Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Port Development of Sarawak Datuk Isinya Aidil Lariwu, Deputy Minister in Sarawak Premier's Office, Law MA63 and State Federal Relations, Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali, Sarawak State Secretary, Datuk Amar Abu Bakar Mazuki, and Simunjan Assemblyman Aula Idris.
The draft amendment of the Sarawak Labour Ordinance SLO has been finalised and submitted to the Ministry of Human Resources, Kasuma, and to the Attorney General's Chambers for further action. Deputy Minister in the Sarawak Chief Minister's Department for Labour, Immigration and Project Monitoring, Datuk Grawat Gala, stated that the amendments are in line with the International Labour Convention and the latest amendment of the Employment Act 1955, Amendment 2022, for the benefit of both employers and workers.
Perlu saya ulaskan apakah peruntukan tersebut. Sedikit sahaja dari segi maternity leave. Maternity leave has been extended to 98 days, dan juga cuti paternity ini satu yang baru untuk bapak-bapak kita. Cuti paternity sebanyak 7 tahun. Sorry, 7 hari ya. Tujuh hari ya. Kalau 7 tahun itu memang our weekly working hours dikurangkan dari 48 jam kepada 45 jam. 1 minggu.
The increase in maternity leave, Jurawat said, aligns with the Maternity Protection Convention 2000, which stipulates that it should not be less than 14 weeks. Amendments on reducing the weekly working hours from 48 to 45 hours were implemented to enhance labour productivity and safeguard the welfare of workers and their families. Jurawat reiterated that the Sarawak government also welcomes and supports the federal government's initiatives regarding the implementation of progressive wages if the initiative benefits private sector workers in Sarawak. This provides more opportunities for local workers compared to the reliance on foreign workers.
Welfare assistance should not be given exclusively to those who are in and below the B40 income group. Rather, it needs to be channeled to other vulnerable groups as well. Minister of Women, Family and Community Development, Datuk Seri Fatimah Abdullah, said that these groups are often sidelined from receiving aid, resulting them in facing difficulties while trying to sustain their daily lives and needing to undertake various jobs to make ends meet.
However, she said her ministry has full authority to always utilize its power by providing assistance to these vulnerable groups via other methods.
Kita mempunyai satu sistem sokongan. Kita mempunyai satu ekosistem di mana ahli masyarakat prihatin kepada kes-kes seperti ini, prihatin dan juga sentiasa memberi memberi bantuan di mana diperlukan dan bila diperlukan. So dengan cara demikian ini akan insya-Allah memberi erti kata inclusiveness yang sebenarnya, tidak ada yang merasa bahawa mereka tidak diberi perhatian.
She said so when met after hosting the Aidilfitri Open House and Corporate Social Responsibility CSR program by the Sarawak Women and Family Council MWKS at her residence earlier today. At the event, Fatimah also delivered assistance in the form of duit raya and essential items to 5 selected families.
Welcome back. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar and Raja Pemaisuri Agong Raja Zarith Sofia have extended appreciation to all workers nationwide in conjunction with the International Labour Day celebrations today. Their Majesties emphasized that workers are the driving force behind Malaysia's progress to greater heights. And through a Facebook post, Sultan Ibrahim conveyed the royal message, Happy Labour Day. Thank you for your efforts, commitment and sacrifices. And without the tireless dedication of every layer of workers, progress would not be achievable. Now, International Workers' Day is celebrated on May 1st each year to acknowledge workers' contributions to the nation, with this year's theme being Workers, the Essence of the Nation. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has described Labour's Day as a celebration to recognise the role of every worker at various levels and their contribution to the nation's development. He hopes that this recognition will enhance rewards, respect and appreciation for all.
Selamat Hari Pekerja 2024. Kita raikan Hari Pekerja bukan sebagai agenda pesta tahunan. Kita raikan kerana mengiktiraf peranan setiap pekerja di peringkat serendah mungkin sehingga peringkat pengurusan kerana mengiktiraf peranan mereka, sumbangan mereka. Maka saya harap Hari Pekerja pada tahun ini akan memberikan rangsangan supaya pengiktirafan itu dari segi ganjaran, dari segi rasa hormat dan ihsan kepada pekerja itu dapat kita tingkatkan.
Public servant salaries will increase by 13% effective later this December. This announcement was made by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim at the official celebration of Labour's Day 2024 on Wednesday in Putrajaya.
Anwar, who is also the finance minister, stated that this increase is the highest in Malaysia's history. He further mentioned that under the Public Service Remuneration System (SSPA), which is currently being refined, the government will also raise salaries to ensure that the minimum income of public servants exceeds 2,000 ringgit per month.
Paling tinggi dalam sejarah kenaikan di negara ini adalah 13%. Pada tahun ini saya akan umumkan bahawa kenaikan itu lebih tinggi dari 13%. Pengumuman berikutnya dan pelaksanaannya hanya mulai 1 Disember tahun ini. Saya janji tahun ini kita kira-kira patutnya jalankan 1 Januari, tapi oleh kerana saya ada janji mula tahun ini, maka kita akan laksanakan apa yang saya sebut kenaikan 15% dan sebagainya itu mulai Disember 2020. Sekarang ini pendapatan menyeluruh minimum pejabat awam ialah 1,795. Dan disebut tadi, dan saya setuju, tidak bersama. Jadi pada tahun ini, penjawat awam sistem saraan ini memulakan suatu kriteria ukuran yang baru yang harus diteliti juga oleh swasta, iaitu pendapatan menyeluruh gaji dalam tetap mesti lebih dari RM2,000. Maknanya bila dia naik, yang lain itu tentu naik. Dan saya ucap terima kasih kerana Kerajaan Sabah dan Sarawak kini telah bersetuju untuk membuat pindaan ke atas Ordinance Borough Sabah dan Sarawak untuk diselaraskan dengan Akta Kerja 955 yang hanya terpakai di Semenanjung ketika itu. Jadi nampak dari segi kepentingan pekerja, Semenanjung, Sabah dan Sarawak dalam satu garisan yang sama.
Anwar revealed that previously the highest increase in public servant salaries was at a rate of 13% about 12 years ago, but the Bendani government will ensure that it exceeds this amount.
At the same time, Anwar is calling for the swift establishment of the Gig Worker Commission. He emphasized the importance of providing greater attention and concern for workers in this particular sector.
Dalam kerajaan, kalau dia prihatin di kerajaan madani, dia kena fikir. Penjawat awam, ya, ada KPPE, ada KSN, kesatuan QPEX ada. Dan mana saya pergi pun memang Tuan Nan dia renung saja. Dia minta saya fikir supaya jangan lupa. Kemudian M2C. Tetapi ada yang tak diwakili secara langsung. Sebab itu Suruhanjaya pekerja gig itu perlu dan kita dah minta disegerakan supaya diberikan perhatian yang lebih.
He delivered this message at the Labour Day celebration 2024 in Putrajaya today. Anwar highlighted that the matter also concerns the taxi drivers in the country who have long been contributing to the nation's economy, but sometimes find themselves forgotten when it comes to coping with the pressure of change. He expressed his gratitude for the tireless efforts of all workers across various sectors, including those within the gig economy.
The results of a study on the restructuring of Sarawak civil servant salaries will be officially done in next June. Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng said the state government is currently examining the good news for all civil servants in the region.
Saya telah memberi satu signal mungkin kita boleh menambah baik sikit apa yang telah ditawarkan oleh kerajaan persekutuan, dan dalam sini kita ada satu package. Kita akan umumkan selepas kita buat kajian, dan satu hari nanti saya akan memberi pengumuman secara rasmi. Sebulan setengah ni. SS dalam masa sebulan setengah kita buat kajian.
He said this to reporters after attending the Simunjan District Level Aidilfitri Open House at Dewan Mesra Simunjan earlier today. According to him, the research on the pay raise will take time as it involves financial implications for the state government.
InsyaAllah lah kita boleh menanggung kenaikan yang akan kita rasmikan dalam masa sebulan setengah.
Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced a more than 13% salary increase for civil servants starting this December, involving an allocation of over 10 billion ringgit. Unity Government spokesperson Fahmi Fazil said details on the salary increase will be announced during the tabling of Budget 2025 scheduled for October.
Not all heroes wear capes, and at this moment, our superheroes certainly don't wear capes at all. Instead, they don a large broom at their base. Street janitors often are ignored by many as many think they are the lower class in society. But this overlooked service plays a vital role in maintaining the cleanliness and functionality in cities all over the world. While it may seem mundane, cleaning the streets serves as a crucial purpose beyond aesthetics. Let's follow a day in the life of Kuching waterfront street janitors, a special report prepared by Salasia Safian.
In the early morning, a petite figure can be seen from a distance, energetically sweeping along the roadside. Starting her day at 6:30 a.m., 59-year-old Salbiah Sainan diligently clears dry leaves and debris along the banks of the Kuching River. Despite the vast area she covers, Salbiah perseveres, driven by her commitment to support her family.
Anak kami nak nyuruh kami kerja lagi, tapi kami mau kerja. Macam gaji anak kami tu si besar bah. Untuknya lagi bayar kereta, bayar motor. Akap dengan anak banyak ni lah merina. Kami dah biasa nangga duit. Malahnya kami pun lah. Kadang-kadang anak kami kecil ya, cucu kami kecil ya. Kadang kami beri duit dengan gaji anak kami banyak ni 1,000 lebih ha. Bayar kereta tak lagi. Kami dah nolong lah beli susu, beli pampers.
For years, Salbiah toiled in her work, yet she couldn't help but to feel disheartened by the few who are still unable to grasp the importance of cleanliness. Despite the availability of trash bins, many still choose to litter indiscriminately.
Angga urang saya semua tikam sia. Sampah kosong pun urang dibuang ke sia. Ya hati kami sakit gila. Belah ya. Ceridak belah ya. Biasalah. Hari nyapu. Masih juga ada yang ngabur urang tikam dalam sia. Sia saya dah jaga kebersihan. Kami orang ya. Biasa walaupun tong sampah besar di sia. Sia juga yang buang. Sia ada. Ingat orang nyapu urang saya macam ni kah di tangga adanya kah. Padahal kami anu. Dia bunyi dah nyamai anak. Ingat orang nyapu urang tu apa kah? Kuli kita orang kah? Bunyi.
Another street janitor, Rokiah Pawi, 68, spoke of her duty as a janitor with a profound sense of responsibility for communal cleanliness.
Rumah saya, nyala panas ya, panas kah, hujan kah. Bila hujan rentik-rentik nak, kami nak yang apa namanya terpaksa juga turun pergi nyapu. Bila hujan, bila hari panas ya, nyapu juga, kerja juga. Ni kan kita nak tinggal dah macam jadi kerja kita. Bila kita nisik ngagak kita takut kena komplain.
Rokiah further shared that her safety becomes a concern when sweeping the streets of Kuching.
Pasti ada, kita mesti mau jaga-jaga. Bila kita bekerja tu kena doktor aja nak, ni boleh juga. Kita mesti singgah kiri, singgah kanan. Tidak dapat juga kita nak terkunduk-kunduk aja ada sampai singun. Kita mesti lihat juga singgah kiri kanan.
They shared this with TVS when taking a moment to rest after finishing cleaning up the waterfront Kuching area. According to them, their work is not easy, and they often have to work until late hours, dealing with difficult weather and unpleasant messes. It's important to recognize and appreciate their hard work. Here's to all street janitors. TVS wishes you happy Labor Day.
Onto global affairs, a police officer from northern England is scheduled to appear in court this week, accused of sharing an image in support of the Palestinian militant group Hamas, which is banned in the United Kingdom. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, has stated that Muhammad Adil, a 26-year-old constable from West Yorkshire Police, is scheduled to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court in London on Thursday on charges related to 2 offences under the Terrorism Act. Adil was accused with 2 counts of sharing an image in support of Hamas, purportedly occurring in October and November, just shortly after Israel's conflict with Hamas in Gaza began, following the militant group's notable attack on October 7th. The IOPC disclosed that it had initiated an inquiry into the WhatsApp messages, which was conducted by local counter-terrorism authorities. Subsequently, the investigation was forwarded to the Crown Prosecution Service. Wrapping up the Nightline, in just 6 months of Israel's genocidal war, the Gaza Strip has amassed a significantly larger volume of war debris and rubble compared to the war in Ukraine. The United Nations Mine Action Service, or UNMAS, has estimated that by mid-April, the amount of debris in Gaza reached 37 million tons, equating to 300 kilograms per square meter. Furthermore, the clearance work poses dangers beyond unexploded ordnance, as it also involves potential exposure to hazardous substances like asbestos.
The situation in Gaza is unprecedented for the Gaza context. Gaza has more rubble than Ukraine, and to put that in perspective, the Ukrainian front line is 600 miles long and Gaza is 25 miles long. 37 million tons of rubble at the latest estimate in Gaza. This rubble is likely heavily contaminated with UXO, but clearance of this will be further complicated by other hazards in the rubble. There's estimated to be over 800,000 tons of asbestos, for instance, alone in the Gaza rubble.
Birch expressed his desire for UNMAS to serve as the leading coordination body for mine action in Gaza, working to address the threats posed by various types of explosive ordnance. Despite securing $5 million in funding, an additional $40 million is required to sustain UNMAS operations in Gaza for the next 12 months. Israel's genocidal offensive has killed at least 34,568 people in Gaza, mostly women and children, according to the health ministry in the Hamas-run territory.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates, both locally and internationally, just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvsarawak.my and follow us on our social media platforms. That's Elias TV Sarawak. And that's all the updates for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum and good night.